So let's preface this by saying these are the top five of the position that we expect to enter the 2024 NFL draft. It's a little bit easier with running backs, though, right? Because we pretty much expect all of them to enter
But
because
you better.
they usually do. So with that being said, we're going to go with our top five running backs as they stand right now that we expect to enter the 2024 NFL draft. And I think we're going to be all over the place on this one. Last week we were pretty lockstep for the most part, 1 through 5. I don't think that's going to be the same here. You're definitely more in tune with running backs and their potential in the NFL than I am. So I'm anxious to see how your list goes. So let's start at the top, Shane. Who is RB1 for you?
It's tough. I think running back is tough. I don't think there's a clear cut. This guy's a first round pick. My number one is Braylon Allen, running back for Wisconsin, 6'2", 238 pounds, 4.4 speed. He's young. He's going to be 20 years old in the NFL. Came out as a 17-year-old freshman and dominated in the Big Ten. He's a little bit limited in terms of agility. So he's not going to have great shuttle times or anything like that. But I think when you get this like big, fast, athletic runner in Wisconsin's smash mouth offense that we've seen the past couple years, you see that gap scheme play out. This year, we saw Wisconsin move to a spread. And guess what? Braylon Allen's catching passes. He's caught more passes already in half a season.
Something we never saw Jonathan Taylor do.
Right. More passes caught in half a season so far than his whole career combined up to this point. So I think now you're getting the full skill set for Braylon Allen. I just think the upside's there. He's not a perfect prospect. I don't think he's a first-round pick necessarily, but he's going to be one of those after the combine that we're like, whoa, this guy should be the top running back in the class, and I think he will be.
My top running back, and I'm with you. It was hard. Because I don't think any of these guys are first round picks, and I don't know that I take any of these guys before the halfway point of the second round. That's kind of where I'm at right now with them. But my top running back is Florida State's Trey Benson. I think he's got the long speed. At 6'1", 215, I've seen enough of him catching the football and pass blocking that I trust him. I think he's, like I said, he's going to probably run in that maybe low 4.5 range if I had to guess. But Trey Benson, I've seen enough from him last year and this year to put him in the top spot temporarily at the very least.
No, I think he's a definite contender. You can see the NFL potential. It's just been rough this year. Like LSU, Clemson, any good defense. I mean, he's missing holes. Like there's been some problems with Trey Benson this year. I kind of expected him to take that next step, and if he did, he would be my number one running back. He is on my list. We'll get to him. But like you said, can catch the football, is athletic. Yeah, he's definitely a favorite of mine. And imagine him in Oregon's offense right now, too. It would be wild when he transferred to Florida State after his first year.
Yep, there you go. Who's number two on your board?
Number two, I'm going with TreVeyon Henderson, running back for Ohio State. I think from a pure skill set standpoint, when TreVeyon Henderson is on the field and 100% healthy, he's the best running back in this class. I think he's the most athletic. He's got the deep speed. He makes guys miss. He takes good angles. Like he does everything well. He had a major injury last year, just missed this past week against Maryland with another injury. If it wasn't for injuries, I think TreVeyon Henderson could be a first-round pick. I had him in the first round of my mock draft. I think if he plays the rest of the season, he's going to have a good combine. He was the only five-star recruit of this recruiting class of these 3-year players in this running back group. So I still think that potential is there for him to be even a top-tier NFL running back, but he's got to stay healthy, and that's been the problem.
I remember his first game as a true freshman was against Minnesota, right? It was like was it Thursday night or Friday night, and everyone was just in awe, right? The first time he touched the field. My number two is Braylon Allen for all the reasons that you mentioned and the receiving, so we don't have to really elaborate on him much anymore. So I'll go to my number three, and this is a guy that injuries as well have kept him out this season, a guy that we were big hype on, Raheem Rocket Sanders for Arkansas, my number three running back currently in this class, built like a brick outhouse, if you will. And runs like it too, but has the speed to break away. like I said, but just injuries or what's keeping him down for me a little bit right now is we haven't seen a whole lot in the 2023 season.
He's teetering on my top five, but I don't think he comes out. I think after this injury, after the poor season, like so far, we'll see what the rest of the season brings. Maybe he breaks out, and we saw it last year. You saw it against, unfortunately, your South Carolina Gamecocks. I mean, Rocket Sanders at 225 can move and hit and is tough. I mean, he has the skill set. But yeah, same thing. A knee injury is just nasty, and he's definitely not 100%. I expect him to go back to school. I think he's gonna have to go another year, and then could compete to be the top running back maybe in 2025.
I thought about that logic as well and keeping him off, but I just am of the mindset that running backs, even with injuries, why spend another year? And we've seen it countless times, whether it's a mistake or not. We've seen it, so that's why I left him on the list. Who's your number three?
My number three was a Heisman contender last year, and that's Blake Corum, the running back for the University of Michigan. I didn't expect to have him here before the season. I wouldn't have thought he'd be in my top five. I was not even super impressed by last season, that 1,500 yards, 18 touchdowns, had the ACL injury. I was like, there's no way he's coming back from that and being effective. And he has back from that and been effective. Now, Michigan also has 6 NFL offensive linemen. I think it helps maybe a little 8. Bit. Maybe more. But he scored a touchdown in every game. Can has good hands, can catch the football. They don't use him like that. He's very shifty in space, just tough to bring down straight on. I like that. I kind of like the short 5'8". He's 5'8", 213. He's listed. I like the short running backs because they're tough to bring down. He's pretty compact and built and muscular. I think Blake Corum kind of has it. His teammate Donovan Edwards, I had above him before the season, has stunk. He's been really bad this year, and Corum's taken hold of that. So I think the NFL is going to love him. If you had to make me bet on a running back to be the first taken in this draft, I think Blake Corum is going to be the first. I don't think you should. I think he will. I think an NFL team's just going to, be suckered right into him. Yeah,
because it's going to be hard because you're just like, okay, let's see what his tape looks like when he doesn't have, an offensive line, right? You're not going to see that because Michigan has one of the best offensive lines the last 4 straight years. So it's just not tape you're going to get. Corum is my number 4, so we don't have to elaborate much on that as well. So let's move on to your number 4 now. I'm waiting to hear a name that I haven't heard yet that I saw you talking up. I wonder if he's going to get in this top 5 here.
Number 4 is Trey Benson. So I'm with you on Trey Benson from Florida State. I think he belongs in the top 5 despite some tough games. But this week against Virginia Tech, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, Benson was when he gets some blocking in front of him, he's legitimate. So I'm still on the Trey Benson day 2 train.
All right. Number 5 for me, teased him a little bit earlier, is Kentucky's Ray Davis. Transferred from Virginia. This guy, he did it against Georgia this week. Looked good. He had the big 200-plus yard game a few weeks ago. He catches the ball. He's electric in the open field. There's going to be NFL teams, I think, when you mentioned Blake Corum, they're like, hey, this guy fits everything we want to do. I think Ray Davis fits NFL offenses like a glove, and he's going to go higher, I think, than some of these other guys we've already talked about. I liked him at Vanderbilt. I thought he was electric there, and moves over to Kentucky this year and has just gotten even better.
Yeah, I mean, he would be my number 6 because I think Rocket Sanders and Will Shipley from Clemson go back to school. So Ray Davis would be my number 6 from Kentucky. Yeah, it has been great. I'm with you. Like Vanderbilt, he popped, and then Michigan State was just such a absolute kind of crap that it was tough for him to shine. And now he's shining even against Georgia. I mean, he was running over Georgia defenders who are going to play in the NFL, and you're like, okay, this guy at 200 pounds is legit. My big worry with Ray Davis is he's going to be 24 years old at the time of the draft. And the draft a running back who's 24, like, he's going to be old before that rookie contract, before the ink is dry on that rookie contract, according to the NFL and running backs. So that's the only tough thing to get over.
It is what it is. Can I take a guess As
Yeah,
number
I
five.
think you got it. I think you know who it is. Who is it?
Is it Texas running back Jonathan Brooks?
Yes, it is. Texas running back Jonathan Brooks is my number 5, and maybe should be higher. Yeah, I was going to make him my offensive player of the week. I was like, we're going to talk about him anyway. I mean, we had Bijan Robinson, we had Roshan Johnson last year. If those guys weren't there, Jonathan Brooks is gonna would have been the guy, and I think we would have been talking about him a lot more. There's 4 straight 100-yard games. You know, 5 touchdowns in the last 3 games. Like, he dominated Oklahoma. Once they started kind of running away from Stutzman's side, Brooks was breaking bigger runs, kept them in that game. The receiving abilities there. He had 5 catches against Oklahoma. There, he was the weapon, and he was not the starter coming into the year. I mean, C.J. Baxter, the true freshman, 5-star true freshman, was supposed to be the starter, got hurt, and Brooks has not looked back at that job. He was a high recruit, 3rd year, 6 foot 207, good size. He can run through you, can run around you. I mean, if he keeps playing like this, I think Jonathan Brooks is on that trajectory, to be to compete for the top running back in the class too.
I was just about to mention that I put the tweet up in my column this week from friend of the program Andrew Harbaugh, and he said, we haven't had an emergence at running back this year. Is Jonathan Brooks RB1? Question mark. Very well could be. I haven't watched Texas yet. I've got to do that in the next few weeks. I really need to lock that down and to get that tape in.